All right, so good evening, everybody. This teaching, this training is going to be about Zoom. Now, it's not about teaching you how to do a presentation. It's about how to use your Zoom client. First, you need to go to zoom.us, zoom.us, if you have not done that already, and sign up for a Zoom account. It is free. Yes, you can get a free account. And I'm going to share things that are different between the free account and the paid account. Because really, at some point in your growth in your business, you will probably want to get a paid account because not necessarily because you may have more than 100 people on the screen, but because you may want to go longer than 40 minutes. The limitation to having a free account is that you only are allowed 40 minutes. So you know this account is not a free account, right? Because we're often on longer than 40 minutes. But it starts out there. So let me show you some things, because a lot of times we experience certain things on Zoom that we don't really have to when we're got people interrupting you, we got people unmuting, we got people doing things. Well, you as the host of Zoom, you're in control. If you see gray bars, we're going to cover all of that. Gray things on the blocks blocking the presentation. We're going to cover all of that. We're going to cover all of that stuff that happens, that we see it happen. And oftentimes back in the day, when we first started doing Zooms during the pandemic, we'd have our conferences on Zoom and something would be going on the stage, but you didn't necessarily see what was going on. And that was only because the host was not controlling what the participant was looking at. The host has control of everything. And then you can make people be a co-host. And then they can help you with that. So let's start first and foremost understanding that you first have to get a Zoom account. And that's at zoom.us. Again, you can get a free account or a paid account. And I'll share with you the differences between the two, what you get and what you don't get, and what you can look forward to doing. I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to show you some things that you can look forward to getting once you move up the ladder to go ahead and get a paid account. And it doesn't even cost as much as you probably think it does. Okay? All right. So let's share our screen. And one of the things that I always do when I do a Zoom is I have two devices. Two devices. Right now, I'm doing my Zoom on my laptop. But over here on the side of me is my iPad. Now my iPad is acting like a participant, just like you. So what does that do? That makes me not be dependent on somebody telling me what they can and cannot see. Now, that doesn't have to be an iPad. Guess what? You could be on your laptop and have something on your phone. But now when you have it on your phone, if you're in the same room with it, like I just had to do, I had to disconnect my sound. So I don't need the sound playing through two devices because that's going to feed off of each other. But how many times somebody say, well, I can't hear you, or I don't hear the video. Well, if you have a different device acting like the participant, then you don't have to worry about whether that's taking place or not. Because I know you can see my screen right now. So I don't have to say, can you see my screen? I don't have to say that because I see it over here on my iPad. So I know you can see my screen. All right. So now let's look at first. I have gone and created a free account in my husband's name so you guys could see some of the things that you're able to do with the free account. I've already told you what you can't do. You can't go longer than 40 minutes. But when you go to your free account, and all I did was go to zoom.us, created a free account, and now I'm in the settings area of that account. Settings over here on the left. And I'm going to turn my camera off because you don't necessarily need to see me. Okay. So the settings area, that's where I am. I just went to the left-hand side and click settings. And I'm going to just show you some things. We're not going to go through every single line of the settings because that's just overkill. But there's some things that you need to recognize that you're able to preset ahead of time. One of those things that you can set ahead of time is the waiting room. Some of you, when you came in, you had to get in the waiting room. And I'm going to show you how to be able to turn the waiting room off. But some of you were waiting to get in. That's a good feature to have, especially if you are not sure about the people that are showing up. But the only thing about the waiting room is that you need to have somebody working with you that we call like a Zoom producer. Why is that? Because it's difficult to be able to let people in the waiting room once you start a presentation. Now, if it's just you and one other person, or you and 3 or 4 other people, and you're having a Zoom because you're going to go over the cleanse regimen with them, then that's fine. That's not even a concern. But just know that you have the option of turning that waiting room on or turning it off. And that means people can't get in until you let them in. The other thing is, have you noticed that we at Akana now, we use one passcode, one ID number that you came to go through all of our presentations? See, when you're just doing it by yourself, you don't have to create a brand new number every single time you do a presentation. It's called your personal meeting ID. And if you can see it right here in the middle of the screen, PMI, your personal meeting ID. The company gives you that. Zoom gives you that. Okay, so it's not, especially with a free account. With the paid account, you can, customize that number like Akana did, 312-888-0420. But when you have a free account, they're giving you that number. But the thing is, why not just use that same number? Now, if you go and schedule, if you go and click schedule, and you schedule a certain meeting, when you schedule a certain meeting, right here where it says meeting ID, what did I do? I clicked schedule. You can put the name of the meeting, the date of the meeting, and all of that. But right here where it says meeting ID, that's where you don't want to put generate automatically. You want to put personal meeting ID. Why do you want to do that? So that you always have the same number every single time. That's a whole lot easier to have the same number every single time. So when people ask me, I'm like, it's the same number, it's the same number. And as you can see here now, this is the Akana website, Akana Zoom. And you see there it is, 312-888-0420, $1 Billion Big 2025. So even with the free account, you will be given that number. And let me see, I can show you. Let's go to the one that is a free account. Where'd it go? Did I lose it? Okay, I did something. Okay, so I'm gonna open up that free account again. Okay, so this is the free account. And when I go to schedule a meeting, there it is. If I click generate automatically, it's going to give me a brand new number. It's going to create its own number. But if I click personal meeting ID, then now your team knows this is your number for your personal meeting. and they'll use that same number over and over and over again. And then here in the passcode, I just put A Belt. That's my husband. I put that in there. So now you can create your own passcode and you have the same passcode over and over and over again. So nobody has to wonder when your team is meeting, where do you go, right? And if you want to cut on the waiting room, then you cut on the waiting room. Okay. Now I'm going to settings again as it relates to the free account. And we're going to look at a couple of other things. And all I'm doing is going down settings. There are so many things here. You can go through and read each one of these if you'd like to. But most of the stuff you just leave alone. Most of it you don't even change. The host video, you don't mess with any of that. Because all this is saying, do you want the host video when they come on for their video to be on? Most people don't want their video on when they first jump on. They want it to be off. They want to cut it on if they want to. Okay, so the other thing is, this says use personal meeting when scheduling a meeting. That's what we just did. We scheduled a meeting. But what if you just want to, I mean, you decided 5 minutes ago, hey guy, can you meet me on a Zoom right quick? And let me show you this. Let me play this video for you. Can you meet me now? And they say yes. Well, you don't have to go schedule a meeting. You can just click host with video on or off and start the meeting. Or once you have the Zoom client, this is the Zoom, we call it the Zoom client or the Zoom app. When you double click that Zoom app, and I can't click it right now because I'm on Zoom, but you can just start the meeting. So you don't necessarily have to have it scheduled. You can go to zoom.us and hit host and just go with the video off or on and start the meeting. So it doesn't always have to be scheduled. That's why you're saying here, use personal meeting ID when starting an instant meeting. An instant meeting is when you decide at the last minute you're ready to jump on Zoom. Okay? Let's go on down a little bit further. Most of this stuff is always on. Your chat is always on. These are things that come in the Zoom automatically, so you don't have to make any changes to that. But in the settings is where you can make the changes if you desire to make any changes. Okay? Screen sharing, it's all here. Everything, who can share a screen? One participant can share at a time. Who can share? All the participants, or you can change that to only the host. We usually say all participants because somebody else may need to share their screen. But again, these are things that are always there, but I just wanted to show you where it is that you can actually go in and make changes to your Zoom meeting if you like so, if you'd like to do so. Let's see what else we've got here. Even with the free account, you're able to do breakout rooms. And I know many of us don't know what the breakout rooms, but hopefully I can show you tonight what breakout rooms are. Breakout rooms are pretty cool. That's when you just want to get in smaller groups and talk it over. The virtual background. So all of this stuff is already on, so you don't have to change anything. The one thing I realized, and I didn't realize it, that you can't do with a free account is that you can't create a co-host. So that when somebody else needs to present, because you have to be a host to be able to actually use the share your screen, so you'll have to make somebody else the host for them to be able to do that. You have to release your host. I don't like to release host capabilities, but for the free account, that's the way you have to do it. And then if they're finished, then they have to give it back to you. So you got to make sure they know how to do it, because then you won't be a host again. All right. So let's go back from there, and let's now go back into our Zoom itself. Okay. So I'm gonna stop sharing, and I'm gonna take you now into the various things that you can do with Zoom once the show has started. So now, when you're looking at your screen, how many of you are looking at a screen right now and you see a bunch of people all over the screen? Or how many of you are looking and you only see me? Anybody just see me, or anybody see a lot of people?
I just see you. Well, I just see the account of
I
brand.
see
I
a
don't.
lot of people. This is Anna.
I just see you.
I just
Okay.
see you.
All right. So listen to the difference. Some people just see me, and some people see a lot of people. So let me show you something. Okay. Now I'm gonna turn the camera on because I want to show you up here where it says view. Okay, let me do it this way. Hold on. Let me put this in the center. Clear up. There we go. Clear it up. Now, what I just did, look to the top of your screen. Sometimes it's different on depending on what your device is. It says view. When I click view, I've got choices: speaker, gallery, and immersive. Now you may not have immersive because immersive is something usually that you have on the paid accounts, but you should have speaker and gallery. So everybody's trying to look for speaker and gallery. This allows you as a participant to change what you see. You can see the speaker, which is the main person that's talking, or you can see the gallery. Now, right now I have myself spotlighted. So I'm gonna take my spotlight off and let you change the view. Change the view on your computer. Anybody able to change it from the one person to the whole gallery?
Yes.
Anybody saw just the speaker and now you see the gallery?
I can
Now I see the gallery.
Yeah. Okay. So you have the ability to change that. Okay. Now, when you're the host, there's one more thing that's there. And I'm gonna spotlight myself again so you can really see it. See this other choice says follow host video order. Follow host video order. That means now I control what you see. If I say follow host video order, if I want you just to see the gallery, or I just want you to see the spotlight. So now everybody should be seeing just a big picture in the middle now. But if I remove the spotlight, now everybody should be seeing the gallery. Because now I'm controlling what everybody sees. Just because I checked follow host video order. And now you have to find me over there in the corner, depending on what size screen you have to be able to look at it. And then a lot of you are looking at people that don't have their camera on, right? But look at here. You see where that says hide? Do I need to spotlight it again so you can see it? Let me do that. See this other choice? Hide non-video participants. Hide non-video participants. Watch what happens when I click that. Now you only see the people who have their camera on. Right?
I still see the
I,
gallery.
yeah, I still have the gallery as well.
But it's a gallery. I got the gallery set. But do you see the people?
I only see the people that have their cameras.
You just did.
Oh, I have to click it. I just clicked non-participant and then it just went off. The people who are not showing on the camera.
So there again, you have the control to be able to not see all those black squares.
Okay, I'm still seeing a lot of black squares though. Mine didn't change.
Go to your view and look for show or hide non-video participants.
I can't find my view. No, I'm stuck. I can't find there's nowhere on my tablet that's showing me the view.
Okay, so
On the
I know
iPad,
my-
you go to more, and then it says, and
I
then
got
you
it.
can, you see it meeting settings, and then you can get to it.
so on my iPad, it looks like it's inside of somebody's square. It's got a little square with 3 little dots underneath it, but it's actually inside somebody else's square. It's inside this top square. I'm showing you what it looks like there. And it
Right,
doesn't
I
say
got it.
view. It says switch to active speaker. And when it's not that way, it looks like a Rubik's Cube. But it's not away from the screen. It's kind of hard to see it. On the computer, it's easier to see. On my laptop, it's easier to see. But on my iPad, I have to touch my screen to see it, first and foremost. Let me say that. You can't see it unless you touch your screen, and it only stays up there for a few minutes. So you have to touch your screen for it to even manifest. But you have the option of doing those things. Okay, that's in the view section. Now, let's say you've got people that are interrupting, unmuting, you don't want them to unmute. So let me show you. Let me spotlight and so you can see. Right at the bottom, well, first and foremost, you need to have your participants on the side. Now, if you don't see your participants on the side of your screen, I want you to go down to the bottom where you see the mute, the stop video, all of these things down here at the bottom. If you don't see participants down there, then click more. When you click more, there you'll find participants. So if I close participants, then I see participants at the bottom. If you do not see participants at the bottom, then go all the way over to more. Click more, and you'll find it. But right now it's here, so I'm going to click it again because I want all the participants to be over here to the right-hand side. Now on your iPad, participants is at the top. And you can't leave them over here like we do on the computer, on the laptop. You just can see them for a minute and then you got to close it. But the reason I want you to see them this way on the right-hand side of your screen is because right down here at the bottom, it says mute all. When I click mute all, a message comes here. When I click mute all, it says mute all current and new participants. And then there's a checkbox, allow participants to unmute themselves. As long as that box is checked, your participants have the ability to unmute themselves. Once I take that check off and say yes, now try to unmute yourself. See, you can't. That host has control of the whole show, cannot be interrupted. Unless somebody comes in brand new. So how do I prevent that? Now, I'm going to click the three dots and I'm going to say mute participants upon entry. Let me clear it up. Come on. There it goes. Mute participants upon entry. That means every person that jumps on comes in muted. You also have the option of asking all to mute. Ask all to mute. You also have the option of, I said mute participants on entry, allow participants to unmute themselves. So now I'm gonna change that back so that you can unmute. And then play sound when someone joins or leaves. You never want that because that'll interrupt your whole presentation. And you can enable or disable the waiting room. So if the waiting room is on and you're tired of having to let people in, you can make sure that there's no check here. If the check is here, that means they're going to have to wait to be let in. So now I'm going to enable the waiting room because I want to show you what happens when somebody comes in. So maybe somebody else will jump on and we'll be able to show you that. Play sound, you don't want to do that. Lock the meeting. I've unlocked the meeting, so now new participants can join. Okay? So maybe somebody was trying to get on and I accidentally locked the meeting. Hold on 1 second. She just did. Yep.
I gotta wash some clothes.
All right. So now, guess what? We got somebody trying to come in. Well, let me show you what happens. See, people are in the waiting room. And when you go to the waiting room, it says admit. All I'm doing is putting my cursor on their name, and it says admit, admit. But I don't have to do them one at a time. Up here it says admit all. I can click admit all and let both of these ladies in. Or if I'm not ready to let them in, I can click message. And I can actually send them a message. Okay, but I'm going to hit admit all and let them both in. Boom. And they're both coming in. And now I'm going to go back down here. And the message that I could have sent was down here where it says waiting room participants. That's where I could have typed the message where it says waiting room participants. But I didn't want to send them a message. So now I'm going to close this meeting chat area. I'm going back to these three dots, and I'm going to disable the waiting room so I don't have to keep letting anybody in, and they can get in. And as you can see, it says you have disabled the waiting room. Did I hear a question?
Hey, Dr. Ross, it's Bernadine. I actually had you on mute and was in another room, just walked back in and saw your request. Sorry about that.
So my request?
Yeah, it was a request to unmute.
Oh, yeah. Because I clicked that button to show people how you can ask people to unmute.
Very good. Okay.
Okay. All right. So those are the things. And so basically, I'm just trying to get you to see is that you have total control when you're the host. If somebody's being disruptive, if somebody doesn't, they're accidentally unmuting, you know, we're not trying to be disruptive, but we accidentally hit the mute button. Or we say something and we forgot that we're unmuted. Well, you can mute up on entry. You can not even allow them to unmute at all. But now here's the thing. If you ever click that allow participants, don't allow participants to unmute themselves, when it's time for them to talk, then you got to remember to let them talk again. Okay? And you can actually, if you don't want everybody to talk, see that? I just put my cursor on Elizabeth's name and I can ask her directly. Or like Bernadine just said, I can click on hers and just ask her directly to unmute. So you don't have to unmute everybody if you don't want to. But I just try to get everybody to know you got total control. Okay. Now, let's look at sharing the screen. Okay. When we share the screen, and all I did was click share screen at the bottom. Two things that we normally do when we're sharing the screen. And let me change this over here so I can see what y'all are looking at. You have the options of share screen. You got a bunch of options, but let's say you got your PowerPoint up. You're going to share your PowerPoint, right? But if you have a paid account, somebody asked me this the other day, how was I able to show my phone? Because when you have a paid account, you actually can show your phone on the screen. iPhone, it says iPhone and iPad. So I guess it doesn't do it for Androids. And I'll show you what that looks like. So you actually can show your full screen. You know, if you're doing whiteboards, I've never done a whiteboard through Zoom because I don't draw that good. But you got your iPhone and your iPad. And of course, you got your PowerPoints and any other documents that you might have open. Anything you want to show, you have the ability to show it. And for those of you who have never done it before, say if I want to share this PowerPoint on my screen, then the next thing, once I pull it up, I have to highlight it. So each one of these I click, it highlights it. So whatever you're going to share, that's what you click. And then you have to click the share button down here at the bottom. Now, if you've got any videos in your presentation, you need to click share sound. We used to click optimize for video clip, and it did both. But I'm telling people, don't click this now. Click share sound only. Because when you click optimize for video clip, if you're doing your presentation and you, while something is playing, you decide to look and see who's in the chat, you decide to move your control bar, you decide to do, it puts a gray bars over the presentation. And you cannot tell that the persons that are watching you see the gray bars, because on your end as a host, you don't see the gray bars. But the people who are watching, they see gray bars. And those gray boxes and bars and strips are on top of your presentation. So only click share sound. That way your video will play clearly through. And then if you go, yes, somebody had a question?
No, I was just going to say thank you. That's happened to me many a times.
Yeah. And so if you're doing sharing your screen, like I'm sharing this screen right now, and I forgot, oh my goodness, I forgot to hit that. Then all you got to do is move your cursor up near the top and let that bar come down again and click share again and go back down there and turn share sound on. A lot of times we stop sharing. Oh, I forgot to do it. I got to stop sharing and I got to start all over again. But you don't. You hit share screen. You forgot to do it. Just go to the top and hit the new share button again and turn share sound on, and you're good to go. And click share again in the right-hand corner, and you're good. And you've now brought your sound back in. So don't panic. Don't think that you got to stop the whole show to do it. Okay? Now, and so now that you've done that, you can look at your participants. You can do anything you want to. You can see how many folk are in the room. You can see who's talking to you. You can see who's responded to the chat. You done ask folks, do you know your blood type? You couldn't look at that before because that gray bar would be in the way of everything. But now you can look at the chat and see who's an O, who's an A, who's an AB. And nobody knows you're even looking. They just know you're saying, oh, I see we got a bunch of O's, we got a bunch of ABs, we got a bunch of A's, but no gray box messing up your presentation. All right, so let me stop sharing there. Let's see. Any questions? And the reason I can show you the way I'm showing you is because I'm using an external camera. I'm using a camera that I actually plug into my computer. I'm not using the camera that's connected to my my laptop, because actually it gives you better quality. The cameras that come with it give you a certain kind of quality, but if you want a crisper look, then it's better to get you a camera. Logitech, they're the main thing. They're the main people for cameras. And then if you really want to take it to another level, and I'm saying that because we're $1 billion big, guys, and we're going to take our presentations. We're going to take our presentations and everything to a whole nother level of excellence. So when you want to take it to another level, watch this. Anybody see the difference?
I did.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the lighting changed.
Yeah,
The-
more
the-
definition.
The pixels
Yeah.
and brightness changed.
Yep.
Oh,
Much
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Showed us
clearer.
everything.
Much clearer.
Yeah, because that's
Oh, with the light?
that's
Ah,
the ring.
Oh, you lose the ring light. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Okay, I turned it on. It
Oh,
wasn't on
gotcha.
before.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
So watch the difference. Now that's just the regular lighting in the room. Not bad,
Right.
right? It's not, I'm not in the dark, but
With the
that's
ring.
better.
Mhm.
Okay, and that ring sits right behind the camera and
Okay.
gives you more lighting. All right, I think I covered everything as it relates to Zoom. Any
Dr. Ross,
questions?
do you
Yes.
ever do these presentations from your iPad or do you use your computer all the time?
I use my computer all the time. The only time I use my iPad sometimes is for the rebounders to play the music. There's some
Right.
limitations. There's some things you cannot do on the pads.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
There's some things that are limited to, like when I play music. When I play music with my laptop, I'm able to play music and you can see the person. You can see everybody, and it just plays the music in the background. Matter of fact, but when I do it on my pad, it only lets you see the YouTube page. So you can't see the people. So for those of you that, that don't know, let me explain how you do that to even play the music, because, hey, I mean, you open up your meeting and you may want to have a little music. So what do? You go to share screen.
Share screen. Okay.
And make sure you can just see me now. Switch your view so you can just see me. Don't see everybody else now, because it'll help you be able to get this. Go to your view, go find your view.
Your speakers on, yeah. Mhm.
So you click, all I did was click share screen and this window opened up.
Okay.
If I can get it clear, there we go. And now I'm gonna click advance.
Click advance. Oh, I'm sorry. Turn my mic off.
See, when you click it, it says basic. The second tab says advanced. And then I'm gonna click computer audio. That allows you to play music in the background with seeing everybody. So and then I gotta click share down here at the bottom. So now I click share, right? But I still see everybody. I still see you. I can change the view, see the whole gallery, change the view again, show non-video participants. Like I told you before, now I see everybody that's here, whether they have their camera on or not. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize my screen, and I'm going to pull up YouTube. And I'm going to find some music. Just want to find something real quick.
I was born by the river.
Everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see your pen. So you can quick advance on screen share.
So now I'm going to minimize my
Then you go to
YouTube.
Then you go through the
Advance
minimize.
YouTube.
Long time coming.
Now I'm back to my screen, but it's still playing the music.
Change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will.
You can't
It's
see
been too
the YouTube. You see everybody else.
hard living,
All right.
but I'm
So
afraid to die.
Well, Dr.
I'm
Roz,
through doing that. I'm gonna pull it back up and cut my music off. Yes.
Dr. Roz, okay, now I can, because I'm on my private account. It's showing me that I can share a screen, and then what pops up when I do share screen, it says start sharing screen will stop other participant computer sound share. Do you want to
Yes.
continue? So,
And you say no, because in my settings, it's designed for only one person to share at a time.
mhm.
Okay.
So you can't share when I'm sharing. So if you click that, you'd stop me from sharing.
Oh, now let me ask you this then. Did you go over how to disable? Is it possible for you to disable share screen? 'Cause-
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Okay.
it was in
Okay.
it was in the settings, and we talked about how you can determine who is allowed to share.
Okay.
Okay, when you go to your settings, you can tell them, okay, I'm the only one want to be able to share, the host.
Mhm.
Or my setting is set up for the host and the participants to be able to share.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I had never
But-
seen it before, and I was wondering how would that get up there? Share screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but if you had clicked it, it would have cut me off.
Uh-oh.
You-
Uh-oh.
Okay. And you would have been sharing.
Oh, wow. That would have
Okay.
been awful.
But if I make you a co-host, you automatically can share, but we still can only one person share at a time.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So those are the things that I do all the time. Playing the music is just, all it is just opening up a different window for your YouTube. I get the music on YouTube. And let me add this. Again, we talk about free accounts and paid accounts. I have a paid YouTube account. Okay. Why do I have a paid YouTube account? Because I do a lot of music, right? Sometimes I do the parties and all of that. Well, if you don't have a paid YouTube account, commercials play. Okay. So how do you avoid that? Well, the way you avoid commercials playing is the way I avoid them from playing is I put the song on mute. Okay. What did I do? You see right down here where this little dial is right here. I'll put it on mute and then hit play. And let that commercial play until it says to pass it up. I forgot what it says because I don't see it anymore. But you guys know what it says when you see it. You got to wait for the commercial to play. Once the commercial plays,
It'll stay.
take it off of mute, put your volume back up, and now play your music. Unless you want people to hear the commercial. But that's the way you get around the commercials playing. Okay, so then minimize this and then you're back to your screen. That's pretty much it for Zoom. Any questions?
I'll mute myself. Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Roz, I think I might have dropped something. When you said that you can schedule a meeting for right now or in a few minutes, okay, you said to go and put in your ID number and then just go click on Zoom. Is that what you meant?
No, you just start the meeting. You don't have to click your ID. You just have to sign into your Zoom account. Other people have to use your ID number.
Okay.
You have to put in your email and password, the stuff that you use to create your Zoom account.
Okay. And then go click on Zoom.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. You don't ever have to use your ID. They have to use the ID is for everybody else.
How do you get your picture? Dr.
What'd you
Ross,
say?
how do you get the picture? Like, I just have a little dot and a figure in your in the gallery part where the pictures are, some people have their picture in it.
Okay, so when you go to your, let's see, let me get you spotlight again. Okay, so you see where it says Akana host me?
Yes.
No. They say you gave them a show a few minutes ago.
Oh.
So where it says Akana host me,
Mhm.
right? There are three little dots right there. Click those three little dots. Let's see, let me do it. Oh, not there. I'm sorry. You can rename it. It's not letting me do it there. Hold on. Because where your picture comes from, it actually comes from your Zoom account.
Okay.
When you create your Zoom account, there's going to be a place. Oh, I know how I can show you. Wait, hold on. So here I am at the Zoom account.
Mhm.
See where it says, all I did was go to your Zoom account that you created, and I clicked
Mhm.
profile.
Okay.
When I click profile, see, this is the free account that I just created today for my husband, and there's no picture there. But if I click right there where that little crayon or whatever that is,
Mhm.
now I can choose a file from my computer. Some picture of yourself has to be already on your computer somewhere, like in your picture folder or somewhere.
Okay.
And now you can choose a picture and drop it in there. And now you'll have a picture when you go to Zoom.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right. Okay, let's stop sharing that for a second here. Now, let's jump real quick because I only have really one thing I want to show you guys as it relates to, well, I said I was going to do that last. Okay, let's go to your browser. And I'll chop all these up even when I left for a minute, and they'll be in separate recordings. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna stop for a